So this is the second assignment, and guess what? We're going to start off by drawing squares again. Okay, this time I want 3 squares equally distanced apart, about the same size. The distance between the squares should be about the same size as the square themselves. I'm going to be off, believe me, I'm just going to move my video so you can see there's 3. We're going to draw these individually later, and then within each of these squares I want you to draw another line parallel within them. And this time we're going to draw practice drawing shadows, but as if you're from a bird, or or from a plan view architecturally. And I'm going to imagine, sorry for this, John made the drawing too big, that the sun is coming from here. In fact, I have a handy dandy little light that I move around my drawing board that actually means that you can get the idea of where the sun is coming from. So you can see I've moved it from the right hand side to the left hand side. So now the sun is, I've moved the light to where the sun is coming from. So for this first drawing, we're going to pretend it's a big a building, a tower. And so if the sun was from here and we're looking from above, you draw a 45-degree angle there. Now, flat roof buildings have something called parapets. That's a little wall that extends above the roof line that actually is there. It helps keeping, it's there for a reason. It helps keep the finish of the roof, the waterproof finish, from flying away when there's a wind. So that's why we have parapets. Anyway, so this is the plan of the building here. From above, this is the parapet wall you're seeing, and the sun is coming from here. So we're going to shade this part here, so you'll see the shadow. Now I've actually just changed from using a 3B from the previous videos to using a B pencil, just to show you the slight difference. This is slightly harder. And so the hatching, you feel the difference when you're drawing. You feel the difference of how smoothly it hatches. And this is why I do go on about using a B pencil. So there, you've got the shadow there, but because this is a little wall, this little wall is usually only about 600 millimeters high. Could be higher, but it will create a shadow itself. It's not going to be as big as a building, but it can be a little shadow like that. So now you created the top, a view from a bird's eye view of a building, and it's shadowed and it pops out. See how it pops out a lot more when you see it. Okay, this drawing is the complete opposite. This is a swimming pool, right? And it has a wall around it. Or maybe it's a reflecting pool. It's got a wall around it protecting it from people falling in. So maybe it's not a swimming pool, it's just a regular pool. Anyway, so with this time, this bit's going to be below here. So we're going to put the shadow on the inside. So this is going to be shaded, because not only is the water further away from the ground plane, but this is a wall that stops people falling in. So it will have a height. So that's the shadow there. And because this is a wall, there'll be a shadow over here. And some of you have already been showing shadows, and some of you in the previous homework assignments. So you've been desperate to get on and do shadows. I can see that. So that would be a swimming pool. If I had a blue crayon, I would colour it in blue. I will come back to that in a minute. But you can see, because this is further away, deeper, it's a deeper shadow than the wall around the swimming pool. Oh no, I keep calling it a swimming pool. It's got a wall around it, you can't swim in it. Okay, so you can see this one is a building that comes up, and that's something that is recessed. And finally on to the last square. What's that going to be? So we're going to actually put a little line here, a little line here, a little line here, and a little line here. And we're going to erase this line. Okay, we're going to keep that line. And this is a plan of a room. Okay, so this is when you're doing interior design. So when you draw a plan, it's actually meant to be drawn at 1 meter high off the ground. So that means that if this was a 3D CAD model, this would be, you'd see a little 3D, there'll be a wall there that was 1 meter high. So there'll be a shadow. So let's make the shadow like we did here for the swimming pool and here. But this is the door. So what happens here? Well, you take a 45-degree angle line, same thickness as that, and that's your shadow. And you do the same on this side. So there'll be no shadow in that tiny little part here where the door is. So actually that will continue on a 45-degree angle. And then this is the window. But the window is not going all the way to the ground, so it will be like that, 45 degrees. Except you take it from here, so it's going to come a bit further. So see, even the professor sometimes doesn't get it right, and that's why we have erasers. And that's coming there. But that one is coming from that line there. So here we are. We're going to shade this in here. And I'm just making this up as I go along. So this is me. This is what we call graphic thinking. I'm thinking about a room. I thought you need a door. You need a window. And there is the shadow. Not particularly brilliant, but there you go. It's making me think. So you can see that's a window. It's very simple, but it really makes, and then of course there'll be shadow on this side. But when you're drawing plans, you tend not to draw the shadow on the outside, but we can do that if you want. 45-degree angle, remember, down the same size. And it will be the same thickness as this because we've cut through the same thick wall at the same height. And now I'm going to tile the floor. So you start in the middle, the square, and just tile it. And there's a bit of interior design happened right before your eyes. And now you have a tiled floor. So these are the ways to make your drawings pop with shadows, even when you're doing 2D drawings.